Okay, today we are making delicious flan. Very easy to make. You'll enjoy this one. You don't need much ingredients. 4 eggs, a can of sweetened condensed milk, a can of evaporated milk, vanilla extract, artificial or real, either one works fine. Some kind of a mixer. I use a hand mixer. You can use a blender. A bowl that you can put into the oven. This thing's awesome. I'll see if I can find where I bought it from. Leave it down in the description. Some kind of sugar. Any kind of sugar will do. A pan. I have a 6-inch soft saucepan there. I got a 1/2 cup measuring cup. And then you need a glass tray. You're going to fill that with water, about 1 inch of water, and it's got to be big enough to carry your bowl. But we'll get to that later. So what I start with is 2 scoops of sugar. So a cup of sugar in the saucepan. You want to flatten it out. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, let's make the caramel. Now you want a wooden spoon. You flatten out your sugar in the pan and you want to cook it at a medium-high heat. And I'm going to fast forward this because it takes about 10 minutes, but you'll start to see the sugar melting. It'll turn into like a yellowish clear liquid. Now keep mixing, don't walk away. You don't want to burn the sugar. Okay, once it gets to a clear fluid, we're going to take this and we're going to pour it into that oven-proof bowl, and you want to twist it around so it gets on the edges. Make sure you do that, okay? And be careful, this stuff's very hot. Now we'll leave the bowl for a few minutes and it'll be hard by then, and we'll move on to the next step. Now let's make the mix on the inside. You want to put 4 eggs into your mixing device. Again, I use a pitcher with a hand mixer. You can use a blender. And then we're going to add some vanilla extract. I use a teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's all you're really going to need. And a little more wouldn't hurt. A little less makes it a little eggier. A little more gives it that more of a sweet vanilla taste. Then you use your sweetened condensed milk. You're going to need a spoon for this stuff because it's extra like thick and creamy. So you don't want to leave too much on the bottom of the can. Then add your evaporated milk. Be careful when you do this, guys, because it kind of splashes all over the place, as you can see. So you want to be a little maybe more careful than I was. Then we're going to mix it all up. So it'll get real smooth and creamy, and this is the flan filling. Now you're going to take that bowl, okay, and you're going to put your flan in there. Now that water I added is about 1 inch of warm water. Okay, and then you're going to pour your filling inside it. Now be careful because you're going to hear some cracking sounds, okay? So it's not the plate cracking, but it's just the caramel hardening up. All right, and after you pour that in there, you're going to put it in the oven, and I let it sit for 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's all I really need on my oven, and it seems to do the trick. And after that, you take it out, you put it on your counter, and you just let it sit for a little bit. I usually let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then I take it out and I put it on like a little cooling rack. And then after about an hour or so, I'll check on it, and I'll start to remove it from the edges. So it's developed like a little bit of a crust there, so it won't flip into a plate unless you kind of cut that free. So I just carefully go all the way around, cut it, and then I take the bowl and I start kind of turning it sideways, leaning it to the side, and you'll notice that it starts detaching a little from the top. And you want it to be loose. You'll start to see it loose. You'll start to see the caramel oozing out the sides a little, and at that point you can flip it. So make sure you center it in the plate because it's hard to move once you flip it because it really sticks to the plate. And at that point it should be ready. Just leave it for a second, make sure it's dropped down, and slowly pull it up, and you should have some beautiful flan hiding right underneath it. Let's take a look. And there it is. Boy, if you could smell what was going on right there, it's really delicious. Now you have the caramel is still in there, so you can scoop that out with a spoon and pour it on top. But we won't do that today. We got plenty on the plate. And yeah, just kind of move that caramel around on the plate. Try to make the presentation look a little nicer. And this is delicious flan. You'll love, your kids will love, everybody will love. It is really, really tasty. So try it. It'll only take about an hour and a half for you to make from start to finish. And it's the best.